Beyoncé breaks down after the court confirms that Kelly Rowland is the biological mother of Jay-Z's child. A straightforward picture of Kelly Rowland and her son Titan served as the introduction. Upon first glance, nothing unusual. But then people started comparing Titan's characteristics to those of other people, not the kind of person you would expect. Not Tim Weatherspoon, Kelly's husband. No, they started muttering crazily. He looks like Jay-Z's. Although fans constantly speculate, this one really resonated. There was a noticeable collective pause. Titan's nose, eyes, and jawline. There were side-by-side comparisons all over the internet. Moreover, the timing was not ideal. Titan was created in 2014, the year Jay-Z took Solange's hands in that infamous elevator video. The real nature of the clash had long been a source of curiosity. The connections they were making, though, were very different now. And if you know Beyoncé and Kelly's history, you can understand why this theory surprised people. They weren't just Destiny's little bandmates, though. When they were young, they were great friends. Kelly spent nearly all of her childhood at the Nolly's house. They were sisters, except by blood. Thus, it would be nuclear, not just betrayal. If this narrative were true, the footage was then leaked, 4K resolution, which eliminates all room for imagination. Kelly and Jay-Z are allegedly shown in a video being, well, too near. No official confirmations, of course. But, once again, the internet did its thing. Frame-by-frame breakdowns and timeline analysis. Many were consulting astrological charts to try to make sense of it. To make matters worse, someone mentioned Kelly's old song, Dirty Laundry, which many used to write off as just another confessional from the company, but now it felt like a confession from a target. The words of the song are about being jealous of a close friend's achievements, feeling overshadowed, and being in a horrible relationship. It started to sound less like fiction and more like receipts. However, Kelly wasn't the only one. The most persistent of the paternity allegations that have dogged Jay-Z for years is the tale of Ramir Satway, a young man from New Jersey who has been fighting tenaciously to have Jay-Z take a paternity test. Ramir's mother, Wanda, said that when she was just 16 and Jay was 22, they were romantically involved in the 1990s. She spoke the same thing over and over again. Protection was used, but it broke. When she got pregnant, Jay left her. Wanda tried to get him to take responsibility. There were court filings. They wrote letters. Nothing worked. After Wanda passed away, Ramir was placed in the care of her close friend, but the legal dispute went on. All Ramir wanted was the truth. He didn't want fame or money, just a yes or no answer. At one point, Jay's crew even got in touch. There was talk of mentoring, music business support, and maybe signing Ramir to a label. Then, though, everything froze again. Lawyers pulled out. Keep quiet. People started to question why Jay-Z was going to such lengths to avoid a test. If the answer was no, wouldn't it be easier to prove it and continue? Then the mood darkened. If Wanda had been underage when all of this occurred, a completely different set of problems would have emerged. Some individuals believe Jay-Z has been avoiding it, because even though he didn't know at the time, the repercussions could be dire now. And it's possible that Kelly is going through the same thing. It is not just Titan whose resemblance to Jay-Z is attracting notice. The rumors of other children in various cities follow a pattern. It's the possibility that Jay-Z's empire could be built on secrets rather than just music and money. What was the extent of Beyoncé's knowledge? Everyone can no longer overlook that. One item: Jay-Z has never been simple to understand. On the surface, he seems to be a Grammy winner, the ultimate business mogul, and the guy who lived off of street selling. But beyond that polished exterior, there has always been something elusive. His ability to manipulate a story is impressive. The whole situation is so out of character because of this. For years, he managed to stay out of the headlines, weather the storm, and remain just beyond the controversies. But now the parts don't fit together. Not when a number of ladies are sharing remarkably similar stories. Not when there's no elevator explanation of Solange's entire WWE moment. Not when the same man keeps coming up in stories of hidden lovers, secret kids, and secret strife inside his own social circle. Let's return to Destiny's Child for a bit. Everyone knows that Beyoncé was the star, but not enough people talk about the dynamics within. Matthew Knowles, BA's father, served as both the manager and the architect. Others also say he made sure his daughter was constantly in the spotlight by dimming everyone else's light, especially Kelly's. There were rumors that Matthew wasn't fair to Kelly, even if someone else came up with the idea initially. There are suspicions that he preferred Beyoncé by boosting her voice, ideas, and image. Kelly was reportedly benched, dressed more softly, and often played a supporting role. You could see it. She remained invisible even though she was in the spotlight. And maybe, just maybe, that had some effect on her. Let's go ahead to 2013. Kelly drops off the dirty laundry. Suddenly, she is telling the world that she is in a toxic relationship, that she feels that she is always in the background, and that she conceals her jealousy while smiling in public. Although she doesn't give names, fans instantly deduce what she's talking about. Both the timing and the tone pointed to a single person. Nor was he an ordinary elderly man. At one point, Kelly called the woman he married his sister. Since Titan was born in the year of the elevator incident and the year Jay-Z was allegedly found lurking around, people started to relate to him. Solange's rage, Beyoncé's silence, Kelly's son, and Jay-Z's lengthy history of dodging direct questions. Beyoncé's Lemonade album didn't help diffuse the situation either. Her sorrow was raw, poetic, and deliberate lyrics like, "He only wants me when I'm not there," "She'd better call Becky with the good hair," caused a frenzy. Everyone wanted to know who Becky was, Rachel Roy, Rita Ora, or another individual. But it was surprising that Kelly Rowland was on the list. It seemed unthinkable, too personal, too close to home. Fans are, nevertheless, bringing up previously unreleased video, interviews, and discreetly tense scenes. The chemistry between Bey and Kelly is off in several of the footage. How they look away from certain appearances and how they embrace them. In hindsight, it looks cold. Some even speculate that the public image of their friendship has been carefully crafted. That group, reunions, Instagram shoutouts, and Grammy backstage photos are all just strategies to maintain the brand. Smoke as well as mirrors to preserve the integrity of the brand while the genuine relationship quietly deteriorated behind closed doors. Meanwhile, Jay silently looms over everything. No affirmations, no denials, not even the decency of explanation for Ramir or the others. He has apparently mastered plausible deniability, just far enough to escape responsibility, but never far enough to allay suspicion. The act is no longer credible. Public opinion is speaking up more and raising relevant questions. Was Kelly just another name on a long list of people? Or was she a bigger danger? Someone who knew him too well and had too many secrets? Kelly Rowland's silence adds volume to the entire situation. She has never directly responded to the rumors, denied them, offered an explanation, or even flinched when fans scrutinized every utterance and every look. Maybe, though, that silence wasn't an avoidance strategy. It could have been a matter of survival. Defying Jay-Z and Beyoncé, after all, is more than just treading carefully. It's wading into a tempest. Think about it. Beyoncé is more than just a well-known individual. She is an institution, the Queen Bee. She has cultivated a reputation for quality, strength, and dedication over the course of several decades. Being associated with someone who could inadvertently damage that reputation is dangerous. Kelly's tightrope might have been getting thinner every year, too. There are others who argue that her career was intentionally hindered, that someone phoned her every time she received excessive attention behind the scenes, that her efforts were covertly halted. Her momentum shifted. There were always excuses. No label support, erroneous timing, and inaccurate sound. But now fans wonder whether someone made a conscious effort to make sure she never overshadowed the crown. Furthermore, Jay's history with women is widely known but strangely protected. Rapper Liv went viral after claiming that Solange gave her a look that nearly made her run away. Liv had earlier alleged that Jay tried to approach her when she was out with Beyonce. Even though that story was rejected, Liv released the song Sorry, Mrs. Carter, which contained somewhat overly descriptive lyrics, just straightforward. She named them. And again, Jay-Z said nothing in response. This theme keeps recurring. Foxy Brown, Rachel Roy, and Rita Ora. There's always a flurry of drama, a little talk, and then nothing. The machine is cleaning it. Public relations departments do their jobs. The narrative resumes. But now that trend is turning around. People are tired of rumors being disregarded, especially when the timeframes start to intersect. If Jay-Z was linked to Wanda in the 1990s and Reimer has been fighting for almost a decade to get a test finished, how many more stories are there? As they get older, how many kids have questioned if the man they see in music videos is truly their father? How about Titan? What if he started asking the same questions that adults do? How long until he starts to question whether the resemblance is more than just a coincidence? Let's not pretend that this generation isn't brave. These kids don't keep things to themselves. They record them, post them, and go live with them. The idea that Jay-Z might have gone too far with Kelly is not merely a vague one. The legacy is being altered. Beyoncé's brand, in addition to his, if true, it fundamentally alters how we perceive that tight-knit, impenetrable group. Solange is upset because of this. It explains why Bey and Kelly are coolly avoiding one another. It even adds dimension to Beyoncé's songs, turning their mysterious words into secret declarations. And maybe that's why it's so silent. Not because nothing happened, but because too much did. Maybe Kelly thought that keeping quiet was the best way to preserve what little she had left. Maybe Beyoncé knows more than she acknowledges. Jay-Z's silence could be an indication of fear rather than fortitude. The ultimate objective is not to confirm every rumor. The weight of things that have been suppressed for too long is the reason behind this. The constant stress, the expressions that say more than any press release ever could. Sometimes the loudest. Facts are those that no one wants to talk about. Additionally, in this case, the silence might be the loudest scream of